Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. It's a little late, but I'm here as I said I was going to be. It's been a long week, and I said before I sat down to eat, and it's like um, kind of late. I'm having some tea right now, trying to take care of myself and just rest because it's been a long week and an interest. Oh my God, I can't speak. An interesting week is what I meant to say. But I am like so exhausted right now. But it's important that I show up here, and it's important that I keep, coming on. I really wanted to be here earlier today, but I had a meeting, and then time just went by, and before I know it, I had to go back to work. So, actually, believe it or not, I'm just getting in from work about 2 hours ago, an hour ago, something like that. And I have to go to work tomorrow. But I normally don't work on Saturdays. But in this case, I am working tomorrow. Um, but as I said, because I missed yesterday, I'm here today and I will be on tomorrow. It'll be earlier than this time because I'm only working half a day tomorrow. So I'll be on here again to make up for yesterday. So, guys, I hope you had a great week. I hope everything is going well and that you guys are getting what you need to in these messages. I hope these messages are benefiting you and take what resonates with you regarding the situations that I talk about and how I overcame them. And if any of these things resonate with you, listen closely to the things that I say on how I got through these difficult times of grief, loss, pain, trauma, etc. Because some of these things have helped change my life significantly. And I didn't think it could change for the better. For those who are out there who are not optimistic about your life changing for the better, it can. Because if I could do this without having physical support, the only support was God, and I had to do the work. And if I can do it, then you guys can do it. And it's never easy. It's a challenge, but the key factor is to keep going. I did a video a while back. If you guys are subscribed to the channel and didn't look through the videos, you'll see a video that I did called Keep Going. And it was important because even when you don't feel well, like, and when you feel like things are not moving the way they should, keep going because I promise you, excuse me, I promise you guys that you are going to see results. It may not happen tomorrow, the next day, but as you keep moving forward, you fall down, you get up, and you keep going. You don't give up on yourself. You just keep going. And it's important to do that. And that's what I was doing. I cried a lot. I did a lot, and went through a lot, down to the ground, crawling on all fours and all of it you know. And from 2020 up until now, 2024, amazing things in my life. God has been there every step of the way. And I'm sharing information with people because, to have the love of God and have Him in your life and have your back, it's amazing. Because there was a time where I was just angry at God because I was losing so many people out of my life, and the people that I was losing was people, genuine people, who loved and cared about me. My mom, I had my dog, even right down to my dog. I felt like Job in the Bible, everything was gone. But I had to rebuild. And I had to not do it alone, but with God. And not only that, guys, I had to start to love on me. Because everyone and everything around me had deserted me in my time of need. In my most difficult time, they abandoned me. Family, friends, and all, so-called friends and all, and they went about their merry business. And, I had to build. You know, it's like it comes a time in your life, you have to swim or drown. And I chose to swim, and I did it with the help of God. And I fell down many times. So much pain, so much anger too of the losses, because it was a lot of people. A friend that I lost, and I was supposed to meet her like a few days um, before I found out she had passed away. And I thought, wait a minute, this is a sick joke of some kind. I was just on the phone with her. We're supposed to go get coffee or do something. And it was like, and she was only a few years older than myself. So when it comes to life, it doesn't matter if you're my age or if you're younger, it doesn't matter. We are all on borrowed time. No one is exempt, you know, and whether we're young or old, it can happen, and we need to value the time that we have here, because one day it's not going to be, and the ones that we love could not be here anymore, to show more love, and when I think about what I could have done differently when it came to my mother, you know but would have, should have, could have, it's a learning experience. And once I learned lessons, I had to grow from it, but I had to, it's like strip everything down to the ground and then be rebuilt again. And as I've done that and gone through, situations, I'm not the same person anymore. That's why when I talk about people from the past and situations and, oh, she's this and that. They don't know me anymore. They don't know who this Lisa Vaughn is today, because the Lisa Vaughn that they are referencing is someone from the past who no longer exists. I'm not the same person. And even when I was back then, I was always good to people. I have my faults like everybody else, but the lies and the maliciousness, the unnecessary things that these folks were doing, made God showed things to me, and it made me realize that I don't need these folks in my life. Doesn't matter if I share DNA or they're, people who I once loved or whatever. Once I was down to the ground like Job and I had to rebuild, as I healed and continue to do so, I am not the same individual as I was before. And this is why I always talk to everyone on this channel. When you're in that much pain and hurt and down to the ground, you have to rebuild, and it's not easy, and it takes time, and there's challenges that come up. That's why I stay in prayer with God and just get through it. So when I hear things about, oh, this and that, I'm like, these people really don't know me. I'm not the Lisa Vaughn they think they do. I was subservient and, you know, giving and being generous, and people were feeling entitled to things. And I had to shut that door of toxicity, and narcissism, because being in being connected to narcissists is no good. I was, connected for 10 years, and then right shortly after that into another narcissistic relationship. And I had to heal those things, and find out why I was doing these things. And sometimes we have to, how they say, like, if you have a problem, a health issue, or whatever it may be, right? And you go to the doctor, and then, you find out that you have to get to the root cause of why a certain situation is occurring in order to get rid of it. And that's what I had to do with why I was doing certain things, like being subservient and, you know, even just giving in to situations I didn't want, just to keep the peace with other people, so that there's no confrontation. And I had to learn how to heal those things and think about me, how important I am. So today, what happened today is that really hit a point in my life. Nothing that I'm referencing. I had a meeting with my therapist today. A session, I should say, not meeting. And he really, I really shared something with him, and it was in reference to growing up as a kid and, certain things that happened in my life, and about how much, I feel about my mom not being here. And, I don't share those things here on this channel, but I've gotten to the point from A to B to C with him that I finally shared something and was in tears and crying. And he cried too. He literally shed some tears because he couldn't believe that what, I was sharing with him, that I guess I don't look like what I've been through, or so to speak. But that's because God have taken me to a place where I would never been able to heal or get up if I hadn't put Him into the equation, and it took a lot to just, heal these things. The old me, when things and problems and situations would occur, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And that's, but now I transmute energy and prayer and give it all to God because I know you have my back. you know Lately I made some decisions that the old version of myself would be terrified to make, because not knowing the outcome of how this is going to turn out. But what I do is give it to God. God, you have my back. If this is not meant to be, just shut the door, block it, remove it. you know if you have my back. And I know that God has my back, because as I take these steps, I ask Him to show me, and He's taking 2 and 3 and 4 behind the scenes. And it makes me think, wow, it took me a long time to get to this point in my life, you know? And one of the things I want to talk about here, because there are newcomers coming onto this channel, and abuse. One of the things I had discussed too was about abusive and toxic relationships. One that was physically abusive, where I just had to get out of. And anyone who's going through that, know your worth, know your value, that you don't have to settle for less in your life just because you know, you may be having some struggles or difficulties or whatever. You don't ever have to stay for, you don't ever have to settle for less. Peace is better than being in pieces. Believe me, I've been there. And I share certain things here on this channel because I want people to know that I'm human too, and I go through things, but I deal with it differently. I have a different perspective of things or life. And I can sniff out narcissism and people ego tripping and trying to charm me because they want to get something out of me. One of the things that happened recently that I was reading about is who I really like a lot is Jennifer Hudson. She's going through a lot, and I know that her faith in God has brought her through a lot of things. And I read something that she was dating someone, and I think this guy Common, anyway, and he, I don't know, but anyway, it wasn't working out. I'm not going to go in a bunch of details, but I'm just talking about what I read about it. And I applaud the fact that when some people think, that because you like them and you're warming up to them and all of that, oh, I got her or him wrapped around my finger, and I'm gonna, because some people are out to just use people and take. And I like the way she handled that. Oh no, it's not working out. Get your stuff, leave. I was reading about how she took care of it, because some other women will be like, okay, they will be overlooking signs of things that they need to pay attention to, of red flags, and that's what I wasn't doing. I wasn't paying attention. I was overlooking the red flags. I saw them and where they, that they were there, but I was making excuses for them. And I like the fact that Jennifer Hudson, in her situation, she didn't make any excuses for that. She just, okay, this is not going to work. You know, when you start to heal and love yourself, this is what to be expected. The old version of yourself start to fade away, and this new person, you know, come out. Like certain things I don't do anymore. Like I used to cry about, okay, if this person don't want me in their life, or they don't, whatever it was. Today the person I am, okay, I may ask what the issue is or whatever, and if whatever it is, I would just let people go. And that's what I needed, why God sat me down to make me understand. You have vultures around you. You have toxicity around you, and you have people who want to take from me. People want to use me, and I wasn't seeing those things. But people, as I went into prayer and I drew closer to God, and as I start to do the work to heal and take steps, and then overcome challenges by just going forward, moving forward. Okay, I don't know where this is going to lead, but I know it's got to be a better place, um, from A to B to C, and I move forward. But God, I'm taking you as my partner as I do so. And He's been taking steps after step to show me that He has my back. So I'm not in a space where I'm codependent on any person or anything. You know, where I am right now is investing in myself. So the title of this video today is Stop Investing in Others Who Do Not Value You. Never settle for less just because you may not have someone in your life, or you may not have certain friends or people. What I had to learn to do is stop making excuses for toxicity, for toxic behavior and abuse, and it wasn't easy. And I had to look at myself and then find out why I was doing these things, and I had to heal all of it, just break it down, and it wasn't easy. And what I do today to heal is to embrace new beginnings, embracing new beginnings, um, embracing new adventures, you know, looking to have genuine friends and not fake ones. People who value who I am and who's on the same page as I am, and those who I can trust, um, not allowing life to break me down. And then when those hard times and challenges come and things like that, because life happens, I, give it to God and move and keep moving. I don't give up on myself. It's important, guys, that you invest in yourself. Give yourself time, an hour or two, whatever, to pamper and nurture yourself, because that inner child needs nurturing from all the trauma, the grief, and the pain and abuse and etc. that you may have experienced. And as you nurture the inner child within, and you start to grow and heal, you start to love yourself and learn your self worth. And as you learn your self worth and you self care, you don't settle for less. You know you're worth more. It doesn't matter what they think about it, because when you start to heal, you start to see things from a different perspective. You start to take care of yourself more, knowing the value of yourself, and it doesn't matter. You start to tune out the noise and the toxicity. And I've learned to keep toxic situations and individuals out of my life, and I know what to look for, because I had to repeat those lessons for far too long, you know, and whether people who value me, having people in my life who value me, and those who want to knock me down to size, and all of that is abusive. And just cut off, block, and delete what I do right out of my life. Because now, guys, is a time for healing and investing in yourself. Is so important to do that, to build up, because everything around us in this world today is being, people are tearing down, and reckless behavior. Toxicity is at its all-time high, you know so healing that is the key factor. The more that I take steps to heal, the more God is behind me taking 2 and 3 steps. And if God is for me, then who can be against me? And I'm learning that as I move forward. As long as I stay on this healing journey, I learned to love myself and look at life from a different perspective. You know, how can I make a difference in the lives of people who show up here on this channel? By sharing my own stories and how I got through difficult times and how I um, was at the bottom. You know that song started at the bottom, now we're here, but I was really like at the bottom, like Job in the Bible. And we're talking back in the 2020 or something. And just God sat me down and showed me things that I didn't want to see, because, I had to see it, see behind the mask, see what's happening, and then go through the pain and the grief and the agony, and then start to rebuild. It's important. But before I could rebuild or do any of that, I had to remove the toxicity. But in order to do that, I had to get rid of it, cut off, block, and delete, and then start the healing process, to rebuild again. And none of it is easy. And you know, the old version of myself would be afraid to make decisions, important decisions, I would stay stuck. And the least I am today will make decisions and say, okay, God, I know you got my back. And if this is not the right path, you're going to show me. And I just move forward. And this is why I talk about videos. Just keep moving forward, healing yourself. And I tune out everything that is toxic and negative, because I want to be at a place of peace and not in pieces. And it doesn't matter what people think I should have or shouldn't have. What I would say to those individuals, go and heal yourself. You know, take that energy and redirect that focus to your healing, because nothing good is going to come from toxicity, abusing others, the mean girl spirit, and doing all of that. Because what I do with that is transmute all of that to God. And God has my back because I'm not on that anymore. Because as you start to heal, you start to grow, you start to evolve and know what your self worth is. You continue to love on yourself. And the thing here is, I come on this channel and I'm, determined to be here because a lot of people who don't talk about or communicate what they're going through, some of these people are in a place of depression and isolation. And sometimes they don't feel comfortable or that they can trust others to talk to them. But this is a channel here that's a no judgment zone. And I share things about how I got through it. Music helped me a lot. If you have a playlist of music, do that. You know, hang out with a pet if you have one. Do things for yourself because, believe it or not, all these little things, if you are consistent with doing things for yourself, it's working. It starts to heal the inner child, and then you learn to self love, self care. And then one day you can be a testimony and a blessing to others because there's other people out there who may share similar experiences that I've gone through, especially abuse. Abuse can lower your self esteem. If you're dealing with someone who you are in a relationship with, friends or family, that toxic behavior and verbal abuse can lower your self esteem. And it took me years to cut off, block, and delete. But like I said, peace is better. So before you can get to that point, you have to just see behind the mask, you know, and remove toxicity from your life and start building. Redirect that focus from other people and put it on yourself. It's important to make yourself a priority, because if you can't take care of anybody or anything else if you're not okay with that. And I was glad today that I had that moment with my therapist where I felt comfortable enough finally to share some things with him that made me feel broken within that I had to heal, And since I've been on this journey, things, I start to value myself more. And I'm not going to open myself up to toxicity. And when I see things that are toxic, it reminds me of that will that I used to spend on. And I'm like, they can keep that. I don't want any part of that. And when I see someone like that coming towards me, I cut off, block, and delete quick, because I don't want to repeat lessons. Remember, guys, I always say life is a people and situations come into your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime or a lesson. And if we repeat lessons, when they come back again, it's going to be worse and worse, until we learn them. So please take some time out to nurture yourself. Take bubble baths, light candles around, music. Get, that favorite meal you want, or the pedicure, or the massage, whatever it is that makes you feel happy, that nice blouse or whatever. Pamper that inner child within you. And as you continue to do so, you start to feel better. And as you feel better, you self care, you know. So that is the message today. I hope it's going to help someone. Please continue to share these messages, and remember and always keep in mind that I am not a therapist of any sort. I don't have a certification or degree in a social work as a social worker, or in that category at all. I am someone who's gone through a lot of trial and tribulations, and I talk about effective ways that I've gotten through them. I've gotten from A to B to C to D to where I am today. And sharing with others, it's going to help other people, because if things are resonating with people who are watching these videos and they had similar experiences, they may want to see if what I'm talking about here resonates within their own life, if they apply certain things. Like, taking time for yourself, just taking care of yourself, you know, and then it becomes natural, like second, you know, like nature. So that's the message today, guys. I am going to go get some sleep, but I had promised that I was going to show up today, and it was important because people need to hear the message. And I will be back tomorrow. I'm not usually on Saturday, but I want to make up for yesterday, and I'll have a new message. So join me if you can. And please hit that subscribe button, because you'll always get a notification as to when I'm here. Thank you all. I appreciate your support. Continue to move forward, and I will always be here to encourage and uplift you and to shed light. Thank you for being here, guys. I got to get some rest, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you again, and have a good evening. This is Lisa, always shedding love and light. Bye, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.